poker's legendary champions, next generation stars, and tireless ambassadors of the game, sharing their wisdom and guiding your journey to high achievement on the green felt. This is Chasing Poker Greatness with your host, Brad Wilson.
Welcome, my friend, to another episode of the Chasing Poker Greatness podcast. As always, this is your host, the founder of ChasingPokerGreatness.com, Brad Wilson. Today's guest on the show is Kenny SpaceyFCB Hallaert. Kenny has cashed for over $10 million in his live and online poker careers combined. And even though he's yet to take down the elusive major live tournament, it's easy to say he's seen way more than his fair share of success on the green felt. Some highlights of Kenny's career thus far: a 6th place finish in the 2016 WSOP Main Event for $1.4 million, a 3rd place in the 2017 WSOP 5K 6-max event for $238K, a gold medal prize in the 2017 Scoop 1K 8-max for $147K. Kenny's racked up quite the laundry list of poker accomplishments, all before hitting the age of 40. In the conversation you are about to listen to, you're going to hear where Kenny's seemingly lifelong love of cards began, the hilarious story of how he flipped satellite tickets for a year because of a silly law in his native Belgium, and how he eventually fell into a gig organizing and marketing tournaments for his local casino, despite not having very much real-world experience doing either. In today's episode, you're also going to learn why a football injury was a major catalyst in Kenny's poker evolution, one of the major poker social pressures you don't have to feel if you don't want to, why Kenny is happy at just firing up any tournament, regardless of buy-in or prize pool, and much, much more. So without any further ado, I bring to you the amazing Belgian crusher of live and online MTTs, Kenny Hallaert. Kenny, good morning, my friend. How you doing?
Good. Hi, Brad. Good afternoon here. I'm in London at the moment.
That's just my typical greeting. I think I just say good morning to everybody at all times of the day. I don't know why, but it's great having you on the show. And to start out this podcast, we typically dive into the origin story. So tell me about how you stumbled across poker.
Oh, we have to go back quite a bit. I have to rewind back to 2004 already, which is when I first discovered poker, basically online on a sports betting site. Saw a link like play poker or download our poker client.
How old were you?
23 at the moment then. Or 22 actually still at that time. Yeah.
You said at the moment. So I was quickly calculating it up, and you found poker and sports betting when you were 6. It's a tough gig for the 6-year-old.
No, it was.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, man.
Sorry. At the moment, At that moment, I meant sorry. At that moment, I was 22, 23. Saw a banner. I was always intrigued into card games.
Tell me about that. Intrigued by card games, like leading up to poker, and I really would like to get to the why of why this game resonated with you in this massive way.
Yeah, like card games. Like my mom used to have a bar where, let's say people would be playing cards. Sometimes nothing really poker related, like nothing money involved as well. It's just basically for fun. People were playing some card games, and I liked like even to watch those games and like to play sometimes myself. Wouldn't be saying that I was good at it or anything, but I always liked the card games, like the strategical point, like the strategical factor behind it, and a little bit of course the luck factor, which kind of is involved in every card game. Yeah, then when I never, I mean, I've heard of poker at the time, but I never played it. Like poker wasn't really known in Belgium or anything. Like I didn't have any friends at all that ever like played the game as far as I knew.
How old were you when you were in your mom's bar watching these folks play cards?
I grew up there. Like I was there like basically from one of the day I was born. Yeah, like I was there every day, like 6 days per week. I was literally there. So I mean, not on Friday. And Friday was closing day. So otherwise, every other day, like it was in the center of the village that I grew up in. So like when I was at school, like the bar was literally like a 2-minute walk from there. So I would go there at noon, have my lunch there after school. Yeah, go back, do my homework there, and then in the evening, drive home with my mom, which was also like a mile away, basically from where the bar was. But yeah, I spent the majority of my time actually at that place. And so yeah, poker. And yeah, I quickly read the rules about it. Like it didn't seem like too complicated. Like you get some hole cards. There's a couple of betting rounds, and at the end we'll see who has the best hand, and that person will win the pot. So started playing that. Obviously, like had zero knowledge before from the game. Like didn't study anything. So obviously was a fish at the table, of course. So straight away played for real money, but really like the micro stakes. Like I would have like I played cash games, which was like 1 cent, 2 cent games. Like you buy in for $2 every time. And then after a while, actually I played Hold'em, and after a while I discovered Omaha, which was actually even more fun. Like you get four hole cards. It's easier to make a straight, easier to make a flush. I mean, full house all the time. So I started playing a little of Omaha. Of course, still not winning. And I also sometimes play the free roll. I saw the website had some free rolls, which, of course, as a beginning player, it's very fun. Like you buy in.
Was this like, what were you doing in the meantime? Like, what was your occupation? Were you just blowing off steam? This is just obviously a fun little side hobby for you?
Yeah, this was just pure a hobby. Like the sports betting, I wasn't really a sports bettor either. Like I would just basically bet on my favorite football team, FC Bruges, hence the nickname FCB. So, and I would bet let's say 20 euros per, like not even every week, maybe like maximum like 40 euros per month or something I would put in there. Like just to have some fun, to have a little bit of action. But I was working already at the time as an electrician. I started working as an electrician when I was 19 years old, I think, roughly. So that would have been in around the year 2000. I studied as an electrician as well. Afterwards, like I just did my high school as an electrician, and afterwards I went to college, but I never finished college. Like I tried to do higher education as an electrician, but I wasn't a good student. Like I was very, like I couldn't handle basically, let's say, like the fact that you did not have to go to school, like at college. Whereas in high school you had to, of course, like it was mandatory. So I always had good results, but then I never like really had to study a lot. Like I kind of had some I was not to be like saying any big words here, but like I kind of was a smart kid. Like I never really had to study a lot to get like good grades. Although the education that I was taught wasn't like really so high as well. But then when you go to college, like you realize that you actually have to study a lot more, and you didn't have to go to the classes themselves. So it was kind of a deadly combination for me. And after a while, I realized that this just wasn't really my thing. So I just started working as an electrician, and that was around 2000. And during that time, like I said, like I discovered poker. So back to the playing poker fact. I discovered the site had free rolls. Played some free rolls. It was like $1,000 free roll, and 10,000 people in there, and probably a very bad or a very fast structure, put it in that way. And I remember actually even one of them finishing second, and obviously I thought I was the second best player at the time. That
Yeah,
was
you've made it.
I did made it, but it was also in one of those free rolls that I got talking to somebody who was sitting at my table, and he guided me to a forum, which was pokerinfo.nl. Let's say it's like the local version of the 2+2 forums, basically, where a lot of strategic was found about the game. And it was there actually that I realized, there's actually some strategy behind this.
There's a method.
There's more strategy than I actually realized. Like, I know there was some strategy. Like, of course, you have to take a decision. But I discovered there's actually books and stuff about this game. Like, now this gets it really got my attention. Like, but this is actually quite fun. So it was then. I mean, I'm really talking still like the first couple of months here of let's say my whole poker career, and I still kept playing. Like, every week I would, let's say, deposit my €20 and just play and lose it every time, of course. And I mean, it wasn't really a big, like, €20 wasn't that much. Like, it just had a regular job, so like it wasn't like it was like addicted or anything or losing a lot of money with it. Like, I mean,
you're recreational.
I mean, it was I mean, it's a hobby. Like, if you like.
Pretty much any hobby, any hobby you find in the world, you're going to have to keep depositing for that hobby. For the most part, hobbies don't make money.
Yeah. And if I would decide to play online poker on a Saturday evening instead of going out, like, there was I would basically lose the same money, but let's say, like, I could lose the same money that I would be losing if I went out. But there was the upside, like, I could potentially win something and I didn't have a hangover on Sunday morning. So
that's a win-win.
The win-win situation anyway. And when I realized that there was like lots of books and stuff about it and like a lot of this like forums and so I decided to put my playing a little bit on a hold and just buy some books and read a lot about the game before I would dive into the game again. So
I find this interesting, by the way, before you go on, that in college, you didn't go to class, you said you're a bad student, and you dropped out, right? And then in poker, you find out about the strategy, and your first order of operation is, let's buy books so that I can study, right? Like, I don't think that, like, be a bad student is the right framing. It's just you are not studying the right thing that resonated with you.
Probably, definitely. Like, if I would go back, like, if I would know everything I know right now, like, I would have completely done different studies and such as well. Although at the time when I did it, like, I didn't really hate it, but I just didn't like to go to school. Like, I didn't like when people like tell me what to do, like, and tell me what to study and when to study. Like, with poker, I could study whenever I want and what I wanted. Like, there was nobody guiding me. Like, it was me deciding for myself.
Oh, there's an anti-authority streak that I think runs through pretty much every professional poker player on the planet.
Yeah, I think that's something that's quite common indeed among poker players. But like, having like no authority is something. Is something I actually like. That's something I like, basically. So I bought some books. Among them were Harrington on Hold'em, Super System, Theory of Poker, Winning Low Limit Hold'em, and I read Theory of Poker and Winning from Theory of Poker from Sklansky, I think that is, and Winning Low Limit Hold'em from Lee Jones. Those were the first two books that I read. Theory of Poker was actually a really great book, and I think like even up today, like there's a lot of stuff that still like players could use, like players that are new to the game. Actually, I think still recommend up until this day, despite all the information being online at the moment available as well. But there's just some like basic theories in there that apply to any form of poker still today. And Winning Low Limit Hold'em, the book says itself like is about limit Hold'em, like the low stakes basically, which at the time like was really recommended by a lot of people. Like, if you want to like start a career, start at limit Hold'em. Like there's yes, the swings are less. Like the amounts you can bet are of course fixed, and it's a good way to build your bankroll. And limit to hold'em games were still like way more popular as they were today. Like I'm not sure if nowadays it still would be the best, or like it's still, if you could find enough action, maybe on the lower limits might still be possible. But that's how that's was the road that I was taking at the moment. So
that was the road in 2004. I mean, I started playing limit hold'em as well when I started playing cards back in 2004. The only time I could play no limit was tournaments.
Yeah, I think limit actually in Europe was never like really that popular. It was definitely more popular in the US, but I was playing online in the beginning anyway. So yeah, there was the majority of the sites, like pretty much every site, like often limit hold'em, and there was enough action to be found anyway. So after a while, I read those two books, and then I said to myself, okay, well, I'm gonna deposit once more, and I'm gonna try to never look back. And that's actually what happened. I deposited 50 euros at the time once more, and that was somewhere in March 2005. And since then, I just worked my way up from there. I started playing the low stakes limit hold'em, which was, I think, at the time still full ring as far as I can remember. Might even be like some 10-handed games, so. But I had literally had the starting hand charts next to me, like no raising, sorry, no calling pre-flop, like only you either raise or you fold, and just that basic strategy. I mean, obviously very boring because like there's no bluffing going on. Like you just play your hands, you play straightforward. If you have a hand, you bet it or you raise it. If you have a draw, you call, if you have the correct odds, and if you miss the flop, you just fold. Like was the basic idea. But yeah, there was so few players at your table that would have had like the same experience. I mean, or like the same knowledge. Like people would play, so poorly, let's say, at the time. So it was easy to be a winning player, like without much knowledge myself, because it was still like the very early days of my career. And I slowly like built up my bankroll, slowly grinded up in stakes. I think up to roughly 3-6 limit that I was playing after a while. And I was always a bankroll nit as well, because I remembered at the time people were saying you need to have like 300 big bets in order to like cover the swings. And I would always just basically count double. Like if people said recommend 300, I would go with 500 or 600. Like just to be sure, like to like take no real risk, or like make sure that I like had gained enough experience on a certain limit before moving up in stakes, so that the risk of having to go back in stakes was lower as well.
Yeah, like so 3-6, you're looking at a roll of like 3,600 or so.
That must have been roughly what I was having. But at 3-6, I remember the games that were starting to get like quite more difficult, like compared to
everybody just playing every hand.
Yeah. So I realized like, okay, I need to pay a little bit more like attention here, like be more selective at what tables I'm gonna sit down, and maybe like even like limits, like or like study more, like just because the games were way harder compared to let's say 10-25 cents, which of course is normal. But I think actually like the jump from 1-2 to 2-4 was quite of a big jump. Like it was, as far as I can remember, at least. But it was also at the time that I discovered No Limit Hold'em as cash game on Everest Poker. That was, which was a site basically full of recreationals, and the games were very soft. And people were just like, at the forum I was on, like Poker Info, people were saying like, really, like you need to go like there, like that's like a very good site, like and people have no clue and blah blah blah. So I went to Everest, started playing I think 25 No Limit Hold'em cash games, and in no time, like over the course of couple of months, like I grind my way up until 200 NL. So, but I was a very busy guy at the time because I still had a regular job. I actually had a secondary job as well. So I roughly worked like 60 hours per week. I played football 3 times per week as well. And outside of that, I tried to play poker. So like a day was literally like at least 10 hours short for me every day. So it was, I just lived at 100% at the time. It was like, work, sleep, poker, and just then play some football from time to time to at least be a little bit active. It was then also in 2001, 2005, that I had a football injury somewhere in December.
What happened?
I tore my how's the English ligaments? Is that
ACL?
I don't know. It's like around my ankle, like the muscles around my ankle, like were completely
shredded your ankle.
So I was out for sports for like at least half a year to start off with, and I couldn't work as well, of course, because and definitely not in the beginning. But was one thing I could do was play poker, of course. So what I did then. And it was December as well, so it was winter, not much to do outside anyway. So the only thing I did was play poker all day, and it was really, really a good thing, at least for my poker career, because I could put so much focus into playing poker at the time, and I my learning curve would raise very quickly at the time, because instead of being limited to play 4-5 hours per day, I don't know, also all of a sudden I could literally play at least 10 hours. I mean, more, probably 14, 15 hours per day that I was playing.
Yeah, you're just full on poker immersion.
Full on poker. So it was obviously very, very, very good. And I started to earn some let's say good money on the side with it as well. In the beginning, I never really cashed out. Pretty much every dollar that I earned, I just put in my bankroll. Because I had a job at the time. I had a job that paid for the bills. So
sure.
I didn't need the money, but it was just an extra for me in the beginning. Like I said, building up my bankroll, and after a while, I realized, actually, it's a good side job. So when I could go back to work, I quit my side job at least, because I was like, okay, let's at least. I'm going to keep my main job, of course, before I make the decision. So, but then I kept playing. I kept playing poker. Kept playing on Everest, playing to 400, 600 NL, sometimes even 1K NL. And it was at the time as well that I started to discovering tournaments back then. And I realized actually that I much more started to enjoy tournaments, because in tournaments, the cash games is really a grind. Whereas in tournaments, for me, they were more fun. Just the competition itself, trying to win all the chips at the end. The glory of being first was something that I was really going for. I've always been a competitive person, and I didn't really find that competition in cash games, because you just you buy in for 100 big blinds. Okay, if you have a good session, you cash out a couple of 100 big blinds, but the next time you start again with 100 big blinds, and you not necessarily know who the true winners are as well at the end of the month. Whereas in poker, whereas in tournaments, there's a competition, and at the end of the tournament, there's a clear winner. He won all the person that ends up with all the chips, and just the rush for glory actually is something that really attracted me to playing tournaments. So I started playing some tournaments as well, and before I realized I put cash games on a really on the side basically, and just focused on playing tournaments. During let's say the years 2006, 2007, I also started to play a little bit of live poker. Not in Belgium, because in Belgium it wasn't allowed at the time, poker in casinos. I played some. Did play some home games with a couple of friends that I met on the forums, and there were some illegal tournaments happening as well, which were like among students, like 5, 10, or 20 euro buy-in, like definitely not more pure for pleasure, but technically, of course, they were. It was illegal at the time, but I remember actually winning one of those tournaments. Of course, again, like you think you're the best player ever. But if I wanted to play like some bigger tournaments, and then for me, bigger tournaments at the time would have been like, let's say around 300 to 1,000 euro buy-in. I had to go abroad, and I went to Holland most of the time, to the Netherlands. There poker was allowed, and they have a fair amount of casinos there that were offering tournament series on a regular basis. So sometimes I would take a day off of work, like on a Friday, to spend like the weekend there, or just like drive over the weekend towards there to play a live poker tournament. And I got to know many. I've met made a lot of new poker friends as well there, actually, because still, like, once you have the live poker tournament, you often see like the same players are coming back, and you start to talk to those players, and that's of course how you meet new people. Then going forward to December 2017. Early December 2017, the law changes in Belgium, and poker tournaments are allowed. However, each casino can only host one tournament every year. I mean,
2017 or 2007?
Sorry, 2007, that is.
2007, okay.
Yeah. No, hold on. 2006, December 2000. Might have been 2005 still. I mean, a lot happened it was 2000. It was 2005. Yes, it was 2005. It was still because in 2005, like, I was already going to Holland to play some live poker tournaments there. My career went quite quick in the beginning. Like, I quickly went from early 2005 playing limit, switching to no limit, having
a lot of success.
Having some success. But in 2005, there was already the first poker tournament. Could have been organized in Belgium, but every casino could only host one tournament every year. And I remember going to them in Belgium to the very first poker tournament on my crutches, because I just had my football accident. And actually, I managed to cash the tournament. I managed to cash the first ever official legal poker tournament held in Belgium. However, the records are not on my hand and mob, unfortunately. Like, I have a lot of different flags on my hand and mob. I'm not sure, but I think it's around 20. However, Belgium is missing. But actually, I do have a Belgian cash. And
it's not hard to track it. There was only one tournament a year. It's not like it was
the results were never kept anywhere. I mean, there was like no live reporting, of course, or anything at the time. Like, there was, and even afterwards, I tried to get back the records, because I started working afterwards for the casino. We'll get to that story shortly. Even there, like, I tried to recover the records, but there weren't any found anymore. And up until today, like, I still don't have a Belgian flag. One time I came close in a tournament where I was, I think, chip leader with 8 left and 7 paid, and I still managed to get 8th place. Recently, like a couple of years ago. So anyway, played a lot in Belgium, played a lot in Holland, and played the first tournaments in Belgium. So in 2006, I still went often to Holland, because tournaments in Belgium were still limited to one tournament a year. However, you could hold satellites to that tournament. So what they were doing, they were just holding satellites to that one tournament throughout the whole year, which of course ended up being a very big tournament.
I think you could sell the satellite chips or whatever.
You could, you could sell the satellite tickets. So what I was doing, I was grinding those satellites and sell them to my Dutch friends. Even there was like lots of people selling like their tickets to me, and I would then sell them through to other people, like in Holland. So I mean, I made some money there as well. The tournament was 1,700 euro buy-in, and like sometimes people like sell them to me for like in the beginning because there was like no demand for it. For like, I even got offered like 1,000 euro like for one. Like I remember like somebody like offered me less than 1,000. I said like, no, here you have 1,000 here at least, because I'm like I couldn't like I found it so like so actually not done. Like I felt like I was really hustling. Like I mean, the guy if I would have bought it for like less, like I think he offered me 800 or something. You have 1,000 like at least, and I would then hold on to those tickets, basically just stacking them up, and then like a month prior to the tournament, I would just start to sell them
all
higher price when the demand was starting to get there. So yeah, made some actual money there as well.
Yeah, flipping satellite entries to the one tournament of the year in Belgium.
Yeah,
or in that casino anyway.
Yeah. But it was actually the only casino at the time that was hosting like an event as well. Like all the other casinos were not really like into poker yet at the time, because I mean, poker for a casino isn't the best game. Like if you
look at monetary value to the casino, like slot machines,
put a slot machine on. I mean, for every place for a poker table, you could easily put 6 slot machines, and they will, the end of the year, like if the CEO looks at the numbers, like like a slot machine will win you more money than a poker tournament. But of course, we all know poker, like it attracts people to the casino and so on. But
same as like magic shows or Cirque du Soleil, right? Like I'm sure that inch by inch you could probably replace those shows and like hypothetically make more money, but you need the people there to distribute themselves and put their money in the slot machines in the first place, right? There's a lot of value in having a festival and attracting a crowd.
Yeah, of course. But there was only like the one or two casinos that really like were offering a little bit of like some poker, because I mean the people behind the casino were actually fan of poker. Obviously, this helps massively. And it's then in 2000 in 2006, like I had like all those satellite tickets, like brought in some Dutch friends, and in 2007, basically doing the same thing. And in 2007, all of a sudden, like during the tournament, like the tournament director was also like the poker manager of like the whole casino. He comes to me and he says like, we're actually looking to somebody to help us out and promote our poker room for the Dutch speaking part, because Belgium has basically 2 languages, Dutch and French. Casino was in the French speaking part of the country. I'm from the Dutch speaking part, and it's like we're looking for somebody to promote it, especially like in the Dutch part of the casino, plus in the Netherlands, and even a little bit further, like towards like more internationally for potential like bigger events. And he saw like I was bringing all of my Dutch friends to there, so like that's
natural
why he
person
kind of contacted me. And I hesitated a little bit in the beginning because I was thinking like, okay, I have like I said, like I was always a bit of a bankroll nit as well. Like I had a good job. I was just like finishing the construction of a house as well. So like did quite a big investment there already. Like, and then all of a sudden you get offered a job, which you're probably like not going to be doing for the rest of your life. Like it's a temporary job, but like the job offer itself, like the wage that I was getting was like fairly good, like compared to what I was earning as an electrician. But discussed it at home with my parents, and they were like, you sure you want to do this? And
could you come back to being an electrician like after time off? I mean,
that was my main actually thing. Like there's always need for an electrician, like at the end of the day. Like if things go wrong, like I'll just I'll just come back as an electrician. And my idea was then like, okay, like in 2000, so it was in 2007. I started working. I ended up accepting the job offer. Started working the 1st of February 2008, and in my head, it was like probably going to do this for 3, 4, maybe 5 years. Who knows? And then I'll just go back to being an electrician. So I started working there in 2008, and throughout the years, that job where it was in the beginning like promoting a lot of the poker room and trying to get players from abroad in there. That was like the first year what I was doing, and then in 2000, I think the law changes a little bit. We could organize more tournaments, but they could only be limited to 4 tables. Even actually, it was kind of like the new rule.
Wow, what a great law change there.
Yeah, I mean, it was something. There was a workaround. So whenever we would have 80 players, let's say, sign up for a tournament, we put them in 2 groups of 40, let them play down to 20, merge them again into a tournament of 40. I mean, if you have 160, whatever, like
shootout style,
shootout style, but over multiple tables, so that you never really play like 2 or 3-handed or anything. Like, so there was like sort of workarounds around there. So it was already more poker happening, and then after. Yeah, I think after a year, I sort of write my review through my bosses, to my bosses, basically saying like, okay, like this and this, like we could improve there, and here and there, and this is going well, and maybe make some changes. Just making a proposal, and one of my proposal was like, because those other tournaments were just like basically like the what I was just saying, the sit and goes, like the shootout format. They were just basically just daily events or weekly small events. Like I'm like, we only have like one major tournament series in the year. Like, why don't we like try to get more of a series in? Like, it's easier to attract people from abroad. Like, people can come over. There's a hotel with the casino and such as well. So like there's some possibilities here. Like it's a good for the PR and all that kind of things. And like there's lots of, I mean, at the time in 2008, 2009, there was still like lots of space on the poker calendar, let's say, to host an event, to host extra events, at least for us. So I'm writing an email to my bosses, basically, like, and within an hour, like I get like a reply back from the CEO. It's like, yeah, good idea about organizing more events. Kenny, like. During the Easter holiday, like, you're gonna organize an event. Like, okay, let's do an event during the Easter holiday, and you're gonna organize it. And like, that was really my intention here, but
yeah,
okay,
there you go.
There we go. Like, literally starting from scratch. Must have been around New Year or something that I got it. I had like a 4-month lead time or something to start organizing that event, and like, okay, like, let's start, and literally having to start from, I mean, not really from scratch, because it is in a casino. Like, there's poker tables there, there's tips there, there's already staff there. Like, you don't, like, there's already a good basis there.
There's still a lot of logistical issues that have to be overcome putting on a major event, I'm sure. 4 months is not that much lead time either.
It is not. So yeah, for sure not. So I'm like, okay, let's go, and you start to put out schedules, make some flyers, start to promoting left and right your event, and then like, okay, I also need like a tournament director, and like, I'll just do it myself. Like, I mean, I'm like organizing it. I will be there the whole time anyway. Like, I'll just be the tournament director. I mean,
why don't you just deal too? You can do it all.
I have dealt actually a couple of events. I remember like one of the tournaments that took a bit later, and like some of the dealers were already gone home, and like I just gave a push to a dealer basically at a final table. So like making some, like, doing the whole organizing thing, and then I became all of a sudden like I was a tournament director, and throughout the years, basically that job of being tournaments, like the organizing of tournaments, became more and more a focus in my job at the time. So instead of more promoting the poker room, which I kind of still did, like I put a lot of my focus was on organizing the event. And after we ended up having basically 4 events per year, because like the people from the casino were happy as well. Like they saw like when you organize an event, indeed, like people show up. Like, and indeed, like if you purely look monetarily at the poker tournaments, you're not earning a lot of with it. But they saw, of course, like, okay, like revenue from the slots, revenue from the table games, like restaurant, hotel. Everybody was happy that there was people.
It's marketing. It's really just
it is marketing. So yeah, at the end of like we ended up almost organizing we ended up organizing 4 festivals per year after a while. Sometimes even in collaboration with some like local like other poker clubs, even like that and stuff. Like it was all running. Yeah, it was all running quite smooth there. So what also happened in 2008, of course, when I started working for the casino, was that I had a lot of more time to put focus on my playing career as well. Whereas otherwise I still had a 40-hour job. All of a sudden I could divide my time better. Like I could just say, okay, like I'm going to work for the casino a little bit this morning, and then this afternoon I'll play a bit, or okay, I'm going to go to the casino tonight. Like I could just divide my time whenever. Yeah.
Jason, tell me about presence. Why did you think presence was the missing weapon in the arsenal of poker players?
So everyone's a mindset champion when they're running great, right? But when you're getting crushed day after day and you haven't booked a win in forever and the confidence just gone, and you're trying to do this thing that you read about in a book or someone told you about, being logical and being happy that the money went in good, when all you really want to do is cry and hit something at the same time. Like, how are you supposed to be logical in that moment? But that's the only moment when you really need it. What you need in that moment isn't mindset. You've already read all the mindset books and you already know what you're supposed to think and what you're supposed to do. What you actually need in that moment is presence. Presence is the ability to connect the dots between who you want to be and how you can actually be that person when you need it most.
So let's cut to the chase, right? Like, how do you do it? How do you stay more present when you're at the poker table?
Well, you get there by first deciding that you want more, right? That you want to grow your intuition, that you want to create more flow in your life, and that you want to reach your full potential as a player and as a person. And once you get there, you can start trying out some of the exercises and practices that I've put together. If it feels good, if you're enjoying it, you can keep going. Right? And if you keep going long enough, eventually you'll find that you're just playing at really high levels, that you feel good with low stress, and you're enjoying your experience a lot more. Not just at the table, but away from it as well.
I personally would love to have as much presence as I possibly can in my day-to-day life. And if you, the listener, right now wants to add some presence to your game, visit pokerwithpresence.com. Join Jason Su's email newsletter, and then schedule a free consult with the Master of Presence himself. One more time, that's pokerwithpresence.com. The transformation is complete. Yeah. You are now fully poker day in and day out.
And I really liked, like, especially the organizing of those tournaments. Like, it was really something I like, because for me it was a combination like of all of the things that I liked at the moment. Like there was poker, which I was really got passionate about it, and I always liked organizing events. Like even way before poker, I was involved in multiple organizations in my local village, where I would organize soccer tournaments or local festivities. I was always like helping out with those and putting a lot of focus on the organizing part of stuff. But I enjoy doing it. And all of a sudden, I could combine like and poker and organizing stuff into one. So it was really something, a very positive thing, of course, in my life. And for my poker career as well, like I said, like I could even put more time in studying as well. And I could starting to go to more live tournaments as well, because I didn't really have to take off. It was actually part of my job. Like if I have to promote the poker room, I'm going to show about other events and start talking about my tournaments. And I could play poker while I was there as well. So like it was living the dream literally at the moment. Also, so the casino I started to work for also held satellites for the World Series Main Event. I remember they had one every last Sunday of the month. And on the last Sunday of January 2008, which was basically the couple of days before I started working there, I won my entry. Like I won a €15,000 package to Vegas. So probably at the time somewhere around, I don't know, $18,000, but it covered everything apart, like for the main event buy-in and flights, hotel, like it was, let's say, so an all-inclusive package. So all of a sudden I could go to the World Series, the dream. Like I've been to Vegas in 2017 already once, but that was outside of the World Series.
2007. We keep
2007.
Skipping.
Yeah,
keep missing a decade there.
Keep missing. Yeah, 2007 was already my first trip with the Poker Info Forum. Actually, that we went there for a week. Stayed at the Sahara, first time in Vegas while the Sahara was still there. There was just, we went there the week after they blew down what was the opposite the Golden Riviera?
I don't know. I haven't actually spent a ton of time in Vegas throughout my career. I know they blew up like the Sands, but I don't know when that happened.
It wasn't Sands. It was like a blue and a red logo. I mean, some people listening to the show will definitely know which one I'm talking about. Just across the Golden Riviera, I think that is. Yeah. Anyway, that was when I went to Vegas for the first time. And so, but all of a sudden in 2008, like the dream, like I can go and play in the World Series. So yeah, went to Vegas, and all of a sudden I was there in the Rio, like, because like when you start playing poker, like one of the first things like you do, like you look up stuff online, of course, and you see like on those the World Series, and in the beginning it's like a dream. It's like for you, like those are your heroes all of a sudden playing. Like we in 2008, who was already around. I mean, there was Helmut, there was Negreanu, Ivy, Ferguson, Madison, like just
Gus Hansen,
Harmon, Seidel, like Doyle, of course,
Howard Lederer.
Yeah. I mean, those were indeed the heroes at the time. And all of a sudden, like you can go there and you can play in the same tournament as you do, which at the time you started playing poker seemed like so far away, like something impossible, even, I would have said. And all of a sudden you're there, and I played even, I think, a couple of side events there as well. 0 cashes, I think, but I had the experience with me. Like this was fun. Like, and I've always kept going back to the World Series. Like after the first time I went there, I'm like,
you're hooked.
I don't want to miss out on this anymore. Like I've played the main event every year since, apart from, of course, I mean, there wasn't really a main event last year, of course. But
there was a bunch of them. What are you talking about? There was like 17 main events.
Yeah, for me, I mean, if you want, we can maybe go later into that topic. But for me, there was one main event, and that I played it actually. That was over the summer. Like that was for me the main event. The hybrid thing that this
secondary thing they just squeezed in that feels suspiciously like a money grab. At the end of the year,
I wasn't really a fan of that event. Like I purposely didn't play just as a matter of principle, actually, because I also like to organize that in the midst of a pandemic. Forcing people to travel seemed not like, for me, a very
high integrity move.
Yeah, like not a positive thing to the outside world as well, like to organize such an event. So I skipped on that. But for me, like whatever they had over the summer, the 5K, 20 million guaranteed event, I think it was. That was for me sort of like the main event. Like I played that one. Don't think I cashed, but I mean, it doesn't matter. But I think if there was one main event, I would say that was at least
for sure the one that happened when the main event normally happens and wasn't just kind of.
And that's how they announced it as well initially. Like I even see like Negreanu like talking about, this is good, like compared to the main event. Like it's 5K, but it's maximum 3 bullets, so people can be in for cheaper, or like you can still like it. They promoted it as it was the main event. So like don't. like I didn't feel so strong with the hybrid thing in December. So anyway, where were we? 2008, 2009. 2009, I had a very good online year as well. Like I with a lot of focus starting in 2008 on playing tournaments, and 2009 all of a sudden went like really well. I won the Sunday warm up on Stars. I remember for at the time my biggest online score, which was 108,000. I mean, it was nowadays the price below the warm up doesn't even reach that high anymore, but it was something around 4,600 entries. Yeah, $215 buy-in.
Back in those days, the tournaments were ramming and jamming. I mean, even 2005 circa party poker was like nightly 200, 200K guaranteed, 200 plus 15 buy-ins, every single day of the week. I mean, that was not like a
re-entry didn't
special.
Exist.
There was no re-entry. It was
shot.
Single entry, one shot, let's go. Thousands of people every single night of the week.
It was indeed. Poker was indeed, poker was, I mean, obviously because the US market, it was all an open market, of course. Nowadays, I mean, this is stuff you have to take into account with numbers as well. Like US isn't there anymore. A lot of segregated markets with France, Italy, Spain, like Australia not being there anymore, of course. Like there's lots of things that have changed over the last decade for sure.
Absolutely. But it was a good time.
It was definitely
a fun time.
Indeed. Yeah. It was, I mean, and the thing was, the games were quite soft as well. Like you didn't have to be like that good of a player to beat the game as well. Like
it's always a matter of who you're playing against, right?
Yeah. If you compare to how the games are today, like it's a completely different story, of course. So yeah, nowadays poker is changed a lot, but that was the thing about when playing poker, like back then, like if you wouldn't win a tournament today, you would have won one the next day, basically. That's how it felt sometimes. Like, but anyway, 2009 was a very good year for online for me as well. Remember, so looking like a little bit, I mean, because we're mixing my life online and live poker career a little bit here, all within each other. So 2009, yes, worked for the casino, played a fair amount of live poker, played lots of online poker as well. Things were going great.
Parents are proud. Parents are happy with the decision.
Yeah, like once they saw that I had some success with it, and that I was smart at least with the money that I was winning. Like I say, I wasn't doing stupid stuff or anything with it, with my money. I was like quite cautious with it. I still was a bankroll nit as well. And on that bankroll nit thing, like that's also what I kept still like my job for a long time in the poker industry. Like in the poker industry, like that job, I worked less and less over the years, for sure. And I kept working for the casino. I started working up until 2016, basically. Although it was every year, let's say, slightly less and less. But I always had that job, like basically that paid the bills. So as a poker player, I never had to stress like about having to make money at the end of the month to cover the costs. So I could play way more freely. I had my live bankroll, let's say, with that I used funded with the money from my job, and then I had my poker bankroll, which was for building the poker bankroll, doing some fun stuff on the side, putting some money away for later. Like, and if my poker bankroll, let's say, worst thing would happen, like go to zero, like I still would have like my other bankroll where I could at least survive in life and pay the bills and
it's nice when that risk of being out on the street living in a cardboard box is kind of removed because you have a day job, right?
Indeed, and it gives you so much more mental rest as well, because like I said, there's no, like, the pressure is not there. Like you can just play freely, like there's no stress on you. Like, I mean, throughout the years, like I said, this is already looking back at more than a 15-year career. Like I've seen so many people come and go in poker, and so many more people that are way better than I am, like have come like into poker, but have left poker because they're very good at poker, but they're not good at every like the other things that come as a professional poker
at life, right?
Like it's the best poker players are not the best poker players necessarily. Like the best poker players are not the people that play the best poker necessarily.
Absolutely.
Like, you have to be complete.
Look at like Victor Blom. I mean, Isildur's like a legend, but has gone broke, I'm sure, multiple times, right? Like it's just sort of inevitable when you have that self-destructive streak and tendency in you, that when you are regularly putting your bankroll on the line, there is no other option besides going broke. You just will go broke eventually.
It is indeed, and that's what made me a good poker player, I think. Like, because I'm not the guy that plays the best poker, for sure not. But I think every other thing, like my bankroll management, my perseverance, my patience, like are always like have been on point, let's say, and that's why I'm still around, like 15 years later. And like I said, there's lots of people that already left the game. I mean, some of them left because they were like, they got tired of the game. Fair enough, of course. But some of them had to quit because they just couldn't handle it, or they literally went broke. Like I've never been too shy to like go back in stakes as well. Like it's sometimes you have to just go back in stakes, like, and just get some confidence, build some bankroll again as well. Like if you had a rough period at a higher stakes, that's just sometimes how it goes. But you have to stay, like keep your eyes open and be honest to yourself, for sure. And don't be afraid of what other people will say, that, oh, look at that guy. Like last month he was playing like 1Ks and now look at him, he's grinding the $20 tournaments. Yeah, so be it. Like, I'm trying to build my bankroll back. Like I'm not too shy to do these things. Like that's just how it is. And I always had a big passion for the game anyway. Like sometimes I've played tournaments that like just pure for fun, where people are saying, why do you play these? Like this is way like below your level, or below your, like way too small for you. Like I don't care. Like I just play.
I enjoy this. Like this is what do you do with your free time? Like why do you go see a movie at night instead of firing up a multi? Well, you like movies. I mean that's how it goes.
I mean, I remember busting from an EPT, European Poker Tour, 5K buy-in in the money. Like, I mean, it wasn't like huge cash that I made, maybe somewhere between 10 and 20,000. But I went back to my hotel room. I fired up the Micro Millions on Stars, which was a $1 rebuy at the time, or like at least one of the events. And I ended up being second out of like 18,000 people. And like literally like a couple of hours later, and people were like, why do you play these things? Like you just busted like a tournament. There was nothing else to do. Like I was literally waiting for a side event to happen. Like, oh, let's just like buy Micro Millions, whatever. Like was literally the first day the Micro Millions like got invented, like got started on Stars. Like it was the second place. Like obviously never did better since. But I always like had a big passion for the game. And whether I'm like playing the main event or I'm playing like I'm very competitive as well. Like playing the main event or playing like a home game with friends for with a 1 cent big blind, I will always try to win. Like, or even like a free roll. Like I can't just sit there and just like throw in my chips and like as if I don't care. No, like I want to win as well. Like that's regardless of the stakes I'm playing. Like
it's the competition, right? Like that's the priority is the competition, and the prizes are just secondary to competing and making good decisions.
Like at the World Series, I had a chance to play the 100K like before. Like I busted it, and the next day I was playing the Colossus. Everything has to be okay inside your mind. That's the only thing.
You live it's a very hard life when you base your decisions on what you're afraid people will think of you because of your actions. Your situation better than anybody else in the world. So who are they to judge what you're doing or how you're spending your time or what stake you're playing, right? I think that like that's sort of just this built-in comfortability with who you are as a human being and your decision-making process.
Yeah, indeed. And it's a message to all of the people that are afraid, like, don't be afraid of what people are thinking of you. Like, just don't, like, put that completely aside. Like, if people say something, it's probably because they're jealous. First of all, they're jealous because they didn't reach so high in the first place as you did. And like, yeah, like, just ignore those people. Ignore those negativity. Like,
it's a good way to filter out people that you don't want around you anyway.
Yeah,
like that's an easy way to filter out people that you shouldn't be associating with.
Yeah, like it literally, like, just put those people away. Like it's a win for you and probably a loss for them. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's what I said. Like I kept my professional career pretty much until a long time. In 2016, then I switched to started working for Unibet, which was quite weird. I mean, not weird. So I was negotiating with Unibet to start working for them. And I literally had my last meeting with them the day before the main event in 2016 start, which is the main event that I made the final table. And so, like, we come to an agreement, like, okay, like, I will start working for you.
Should have waited a week. It would have had more leverage in a week.
Yeah, and then like a week later, or like, I mean, yeah, the whole main event takes probably like 2 weeks to reach the final table. I mean, it's 7 days, but like with all the other flights, I guess like 11, 12 days maybe. Later, like, you're like, make the final table. And then like a couple of days later, I got like a message from my boss there saying like, can we have a talk, or like, are you still like gonna go ahead with the job? I'm like, and I said yes. Like, it didn't even cross my mind at the time of like, whoa, I won lots of money, let's quit. Like, no, like, I'm just enjoy doing this as well. Like, and for me, it's like a good change of pace as well, and it's like something to like clear my head a bit. Like,
I think it's a great, that's a greatness bomb for people to sort of make decisions based on their professional career. Like, if you were to win millions of dollars, would you still want to accept this job that's being offered to you? Right? Like, it's a good way to judge like whether or not you have a passion, whether or not you're going to enjoy that kind of work, whether or not it's going to be ultimately fulfilling for you.
Yeah, for sure. And so I accepted. Yeah, it's like, it's still going to go ahead. Like, I mean, it's more, of course, like, I didn't have to do it for the money, of course.
Look, I totally get it. You feel like being a lone wolf in your poker journey has hamstrung your ability to realize your full potential. So I'm about to give you a golden opportunity to plug into a supportive tribe that will be the poker family you've always wished you had. How much money would you give for 1 hour of interactive group coaching led by myself, Coach Thomas, and occasionally past guests of the Chasing Poker Greatness podcast? For now, and this will absolutely change at some point in the near future, the price of admission to the live Poker Power Hour is 100% free. All you've got to do to get your invite is head to chasingpokergreatness.com and hop on the VIP newsletter. No more excuses, no more procrastination. It's time to take action and put yourself in position to turn your poker dreams into reality. I hope to see that beautiful face of yours in just a couple of days. I want to go back before you take it and go like that thing that we just kind of like spent 20 seconds on, your lead up to making the final table, the main event. Could you take me through that specific tournament? Because I have to imagine that was a pretty cool experience.
It was, I mean, the whole, so let's go back. I mean, so 2008, as I said, like, my dream came true. Like, I played the main event. Even like I played the World Series and I could play the main event like already, like wow. So I went back every year since, and then like you're like, okay, what's my next goal? Like, okay, I want to cash like an event, like at least like have that like World Series of Poker badge on your hand-em-up profile. And I think in 2009 already, like I got somewhere a cash. I mean, not a big result or anything. Just quickly open my hand-em-up. It wasn't a big result, but at least like okay, like I have my cash here, so like I can, I had one min cash in a 1500 for 2700. So, but okay, I got the cash. So then next year, so you like I always kept coming back, and like what's my next goal? Like, okay, like make a cash in the main event, like that's the next goal. And I had to wait yet still until 2012 before I got my first main event cash for 30K. Like, I mean, very happy, of course, very nice result. And then okay, then you made a main event cash. Like, what's next? Like, final table, I guess. Like, I mean, you always go there, of course, with the dream every year of like, coming back home with some gold, like, of course. But for me, like already, like making a final table would have been a huge thing, because especially as a no limit play, like I only played no limit, and those fields of a couple of thousand players, like making a final table is tough. Like if you would play mixed games, I would say it's easier to make a final table because of the field sizes are of course way smaller. But me as a pure no limit player, like having to plow through these, and I wasn't really playing high rolls, so having to plow through these big fields.
It's tough.
It is tough indeed. So I came like I had a 20th place in 2014. I guess that's must have been roughly my best result, so like place wise, at least at the time, as far as I know. And then all of a sudden in 2015, early in the summer, the World Series decided to pull up an event which is called the Colossus, which at the time was the first buy-in under $1,000. It attracted 22,000 entries, and boom, there I was all of a sudden at the final table, like my first final table in, at the time, the biggest event, like entry-wise in the World Series of poker. And there was it like 45-year history or something. And I was there, like, I mean, of course, ran pretty pure to get there. Otherwise, you're not sitting there. But all of a sudden had my final table. They came in fifth, like a couple of places. I mean, which feels like short of a bracelet, but still, like, you still need to beat 4 other people. Like, you're still only like 20% there. Like, you still like 80% of the field still needs to be eliminated at the time, like before you even
which is it's kind of crazy. Like you can see the finish line, you can taste it, it's tangible, and you're still only 20% of the way there with 5 people left in this 20,000 plus field.
Yeah, it is. Like, that's. So, I mean, I wasn't really disappointed, of course. Like, had a nice score, 180K, which was roughly my biggest score at the time. I had like an EPT final table like a couple of years before that, which paid out roughly the same. But of course, very happy with it. And then the next year, 2016 is there. Main event time, like in the world. I think leading up to the main event, I quite had an okay year, I think, if I quickly look on my hand and map. I had some. I remember actually like winning some money. Like I was break even before I sat down. I think at the main event final table, like for that year. I think I ran pretty good in cash games. Like I hadn't really tournament result, but I remember cash games and sit and goes actually went quite well there at the World Series. Okay, out of that, starting the main event, and basically I go on an insane heater starting from day one. I think at the dinner break of day one, I already have like 4 starting stacks or something, literally like, quite, I mean, I wouldn't say unique because like there's other people that have similar stacks, but it's for yourself, like quite a unique experience. Hold on, let me actually go back one more year, 2015, where I finished in the main event in 123rd place in 2015. Which, of course, is a deep run in the main event as well. Like, you're down, like, in the Amazon room. Like, they literally, every time a table, like, breaks, like, they literally break the table. Like, they take out the table of the room. Like, and there's 123. There's, 14, 15 tables left. I bust. Okay, whatever. And you feel like, damn, this could have been a unique opportunity. Like, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Like, get ever through the final table. Like
you can see everybody who's left. Like one person in this room is going to be the WSOP main event champion. Why not?
They are like it feels so close at the time, and like I said, I'm like maybe I just wasted my one time here to make the main event final table, because 123, you're down to what is the last 2% of the field or something, 2-3% of the field. So it's very, it's quite deep already, but still, of course, yet so far away. But there's people that are, like I said, they're probably way better poker players than I am, that never made it to the top 500 maybe in the main event, like even after trying 10 times or even 20 times. Like it
good friend of mine, Jesse Agaduma, is a great tournament player, like world class. I don't think he's ever cashed in the main event, much less made it to the top couple hundred.
Yeah, that's just weird indeed. How, I mean, that's the weirdness about tournament poker, and it's also, like, in a way, the beauty of tournament poker.
It's the beauty of randomness too. Like it doesn't matter. Somebody could win the main event back to back. Like it's a thing that happens. Like crazier things have happened in the world.
It is indeed. Like, I mean, at every final table, there's 9 chairs that need to be filled, and at the end of the tournament, there's one person that will end up with all the chips. So like somebody will win it every year. So yeah, I felt like a unique opportunity. And then 2016, I go on an insane heater. Like for the first couple of days, I have chips on day 1. Day 2, I think, was a pretty medium day. But then on day 3, I'm having a lot of chips again. And I think day 3 is where the bubble burst. Because they were paying 15%. And I think it was now day 3 or day 4. I ended up with an overnight chip lead even. Might have been day 3. I think it was day 3. And I think then on day 4, I mean, the days kind of blend a little bit into each other here now. But I remember making somewhere with 200 people left, like, I wouldn't say a mistake. I mean, I get stacked when I run top pair, top kicker in a set, but probably could have gotten away. Like I lose a lot of chips, which is like, God damn it, like not again. I still hadn't been all in like the whole tournament up until that point, where I was left with 20 big blinds. I think it was day 5. Must have been day 5, because early on day 5, yeah. I'm left with 20 big blinds and getting my first and only all in basically up until the final table. I get it in with kings versus queens, like for 20 bigs, and literally a couple of hours later, it's like I'm almost chip leader again at the event, like more than 200 big blinds, like again going an insane heater. In the meantime, past that point of the 123 players left as well, which is like, it felt like, okay, like take 2, like now there's another chance here, like who knows. And yeah, I just kept chipping up, and at the end of day 7, all of a sudden there's 10 players left, and you get moved to the Thunderdome, and there's one more player that needs to go, and luckily it wasn't me that went out. Like, and all of a sudden you're there, like you're like, what the F like just happened right now? Like this thing that I've been trying to do, like my whole poker career, all of a sudden becomes true. Like, not trying to do, everything that I dreamed of, like the whole time. Like, it seemed like the impossible just happened to me. Like, all of a sudden, like I'm here, like I'm guaranteed already an insane amount of money, and I can play for
playing a sit and go to be a world champ.
Yeah, play one sit and go away from being a world champion. And it was such a weird feeling actually at that time. Like I didn't realize, like you don't really like realize in the beginning what's all happening, because there's like all the press and stuff around, like, and you're like, is it even real actually? But yeah, it was real. Like my dream came true, playing the main event final table. And unfortunately, like I finished in 5th. Yeah, 5th it was. No, 6th.
It's a very memorable experience. You can't even remember what place you got.
That was sixth. No, it was sixth. Yeah, and I finished in the sixth place. Unfortunately, heading into the final table as I think fourth place I was when heading into the final table. So a little bit disappointed, of course, because like let's say if you start as fourth, you hope to be at least to maintain your position. Of course, like you start in ninth position, and you have 8 bigs. I mean, every place is a win basically. But starting in fourth, yeah, I mean fifth, I would have been okay, let's say, but like sixth felt just like one place short of like maybe like complete like happiness. But I mean, once you get back home, then you like after all the dust has settled from the main event, you're still, of course, looking back at the whole journey, you're insanely happy, of course. Like it's such such a unique experience that you encountered there. Like it's
There's only one step to go in the progression, Kenny.
There's only one, and that's my main goal still in poker. I do want to win a big major live tournament. That's unfortunately last year I didn't really have much chance to win one. I mean, but it's something that's missing on my resume. I think once that gap is filled in, like then for me the puzzle will be complete. Like if I win a big major event, doesn't necessarily needs to be a bracelet. A bracelet would be very cool, of course, but just winning a big major event. Like I can't aim much higher. You can't say like I still want to win the main event. Like that's, I mean, of course you want to win the main event, and I will try every year for sure. But that's not a realistic goal, of course. I mean, even winning a major is still like you need to be a bit fortunate. But I've took already a lot of chances, and I've come close many times, but I'm still trying to fill in that gap. Like once I've done that, like I might just, let's say, like put poker maybe even like on a smaller pace and maybe look for some new challenges in life. But I never will quit playing poker. Like I enjoy it too much.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like enjoy this time before you win your major. The pleasure of conquest, the pleasure of trying to aim high and reach your goals. I think that's something that folks undervalue in their life, where it's like, oh, I have XYZ that I really just want to accomplish, and they don't really savor the moment of, I'm in the arena, I'm striving, I have this tangible goal that I'm trying to reach. And there's a lot of joy and pleasure in just living in the here and now. And I have no doubt that eventually you'll win a major. I think that like you play enough major tournaments eventually.
I do play enough, and I'm trying hard for sure. That's a fact. Like I've been a lot fortunate, I would say, like to go deep, but then it's like always at the end, like I kind of have a little bit, let's say the little bit of the bad luck against me. I mean, I'm not complaining. Like if I'm looking throughout my whole poker career, I definitely run above EV.
Yeah. Sure. Well, it's like when I was playing sit and goes on party poker, like the 200s, I could play like 24 of them without winning one, right? Like, and if you think about it, that's like 24 final tables of majors, like without winning a tournament. And you just need to hold up in the right spots in these majors. And that's just the reality of life, that somebody's going to get all the glory and the money and be the champion, and nobody else will. And you just need some things to go well for you to, stamp your place. Yeah,
indeed, that's 100% correct. Yeah, you just need to be like just that extra bit of luck sometimes needs to.
You need that day one run good, the day one heat on day 7.
One time, literally like your one time, you need it at that moment. But that's something actually I always have said. Like when the puzzle is complete, I think I want to decide to like stop playing poker for like, let's say on a professional level. I just want to take a year off and play poker. That sounds stupid, but I just want to travel the world then and play poker and collect as many different hand and mob flags on my profile. And then it doesn't matter which one. If it's the weekly 100 in Chile, or it's the World Series main event, like a flag is a flag. Like then just like enjoy life a little bit. I mean, still enjoying life at the time. Don't at the moment as well. Like don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's something I still have like in as some sort of goal. Like end up with like as many flags in my hand, because that's like a challenge that like you can't even buy it, and you can't like, and regardless of your skill, you can still like go for it. Like you have to really like chase it in a way. Like it's not really like it's a competition that's open for many people, because you can play it regardless at what stakes you're playing. I mean, you just have to collect a lot of air miles, of course, in the meantime, in order to visit all these countries. But yeah, you'll see something. You'll see something along the way, of course, as well.
Absolutely, enjoy the scenery and the journey as you go along, traveling the world and playing in all these different tournaments. So, what's a project you're working on right now that's near and dear to your heart?
Well, I mean, last year pretty much everything has been poker. So because we were limited in stuff that we could do. So anyway, I've been home the majority, if not pretty much all the time, and just working on my game, and in the hope to win a big one live tournament, like just trying to get better as a player. That's still the project that had consumed like pretty much all of my energy, let's say, in the last year. Regarding like working in the industry myself, like there's nothing in the pipeline at the moment, of course, as well. So that's my main focus now. Like hopefully we can sooner or later start travel again a little bit more freely and play more live poker, some bigger events. Like I see like some bigger events already starting to get organized, and on the other side of the ocean for me, here on this side, things are still like on a very low pace. There's with the current restrictions pretty much everywhere in Europe, it's still like a poker tournament. Still not like, I mean, the governments or like the specialists like still think that at this given time that it's not the best thing to do. But now with vaccinations and stuff rolling out, so hopefully
we're gonna get there. Hopefully, we're gonna get there. Hopefully,
at the end of the year, and we should be able to have something going on at least. And we'll see. I mean, it's not this year; it's probably next year. But I'm in no real rush, of course. Like we'll see.
Cool, man. Final question. Where can the Chasing Poker Greatness audience find more about you on the World Wide Web?
Twitter, Instagram, not really on Facebook anymore, but Twitter and Instagram / about SpaceyFCB. That's where I would say people can follow me. Although, like, even in the last year, I've been very quiet pretty much on social media. I mean, there hasn't been much stuff to be tweeting or about
not many productive things to be tweeting
not
about
many
anyway.
productive things, at least. I mean, I mean, you can tweet it, you're at home, but you waiting, but it all will be quite repetitive, of course. So like I could say I've put much focus on more on studying myself, and with the study group that I'm part of, which is running pretty great. So there's a lot of content being made there, like that consumes already a lot of time. So
perfect, man. That's a much better way to spend your energy over the course of this year than messing around on Twitter. I can promise you and sign off on that.
But I still follow everything. Like if somebody has a specific question for me, like feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I usually try to respond in a reasonable time, and try to respond to pretty much everything that I can.
Awesome, man. And those links to Kenny's social media will be in the show page. So you can click right through, find him on social media. And sir, it's been wonderful spending the last hour and a half with you. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I can't wait for you to take down your major and have you back on the show in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brad. Yeah,
it's my pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Chasing Poker Greatness. If you have yet to subscribe to the show, please take a second to do so on Apple Podcasts or wherever your favorite place to listen to podcasts may be. For more content from me, Coach Brad, please visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/enhanceyouredge, and I'll see you next time.